Hi there and welcome to my channel. This is our Simple Abundance year. It's our 2020 journey through Sarah Von Braunick's book Simple Abundance, and we're predominantly talking about her 2019 revised edition. But if you follow my channel, you know occasionally I do pull from her older version of Simple Abundance written back in the late 90s, and it's the Simple Abundance, a Daybook of Comfort and Joy. I am going to be talking about some entries today from the older version of the book that are all on the topic of abundance and money and the relationship that we have with it. And the first entry that I want to talk about is money and the meaning of life, because what better way to start this conversation about it? What do you think when you hear money and the meaning of life? Maybe you aspire for money, so it does feel like the meaning of life. It's interesting when you think about modern society and how money does mean so much. And in ancient times, well, actually, I shouldn't say that, because there was definitely money back in ancient times. But I'm thinking more of like a nomadic culture where their goods might have been things like animal pelts and just other goods that they've harvested or hunted. So different than current currency, I guess. So Sarah has a bunch of great things. It's just going to be best to read them. One of the things we probably don't realize is how hypocritical we are about money. We want it, but we don't want to appear as if we do. We fear and desire it in the same heartbeat. Do you think that's true? I was thinking about the entries about success from a couple of months ago and how we might have a fear of success, and that could be tied to money. You might feel like if you got a lot of money that other people would want it, or that it would mean that you were greedy, or, why aren't you giving more money to certain causes or family members, or you might be judged just by the way you spend it or don't spend it. So there could be some negative things. One of our difficulties is that too often we confuse spiritual yearnings with material wants. For instance, you might long for serenity, she says. You assume that serenity is a resident comma in your checking account balance. I could understand that, because if you do have money in the bank, you might have a little bit more peace, I suppose. And while being able to pay your bills easily, a practical definition of serenity, she says, often comes with a fatter paycheck, the comma requires an expenditure of more time, creative energy, and emotion. Okay, I could see that too, because you might be working really hard to get that money. You may not have as much personal time. You may not even be doing something you like. The redistribution of your life force means subtracting it from the seemingly, quote, disposable segments of your life: family time, personal pursuits, spiritual growth, rest, and recreation. And it's moving to your work. Yeah, so maybe we talked about becoming a workaholic, but maybe your work is just such a predominant thing if you're very, very money driven. More work, more pay, more stress, less serenity. No matter how much money you're earning, in becoming experts at quality instead of quantity, we rob our souls of real life's richness. You know how they say that the best things in life are free? Maybe that's what she means about life's richness. In order to find balance between the two spheres that pull us in opposing directions, material and spiritual, Jacob Needland suggests we consider the practical advice in the ancient admonishment, quote, render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's, and unto God that which is God's. That was in the Bible, right? The entire problem, this is a continued quote, the entire problem of life in contemporary culture can be defined as the challenge to understand that saying that Jesus said. Those were his words. It is not so simple. In fact, it is immensely difficult. It requires that we begin to understand what in ourselves belongs to the transcendent realm and what to the material realm, and then to give to each what is due to each, no more and no less. This is what it means to be human, he says. Meaning can come from no other source than this. So I take that to mean almost like there's a choice between the currency in society and your spiritual currency. But I think with anything, and you know this is my year of balance, so I think about balance. Maybe you could come to a balance where there would be an equal sort of give and take between the two. I don't know. Let's see what she says further. So the next entry is called Worrying About Money, and that can definitely be something that we can all experience, right? It's easy because when you get into lack consciousness, then in often cases it's going to just continue to perpetuate. You know, if you're just totally aware of the lack of the money, then you're just going to be worrying, and life is just going to continue to show you that lack of money. Worrying about money never paid a bill. It's a good way to think about it. If it did, at least there'd be a legitimate reason for indulging in worry. Yeah. Actually, worrying about money repels rather than attracts prosperity. Not exactly what we had in mind. Those are Sarah's words. Worrying about money sends toxic signals: fear, lack, deprivation. When our subconscious mind continually receives negative impulses, it duplicates in your daily round whatever it is instructed to manifest, such as fear, lack, and deprivation. So yeah, that's just what I was saying. If you go back and watch my video from the summer about the cash envelope system, I did share with you guys something that is connected to this, that when I prepare ahead of time and I have my cash envelopes and then I'm there at the grocery store and I'm paying with actual cash, there's not only like that feeling of the transfer of the physical currency, but there's a sense of peace in knowing that I've already budgeted and I have the money, and I'm not worried about whether there's enough in the account because it's already been taken out and I've already determined what my budget is for the groceries. So that has really helped, and that's something now I'm going into my third year with the cash envelopes. And I noticed a huge shift, like I told you in that video, when I started to have a budget and have less worry even in the transaction of spending the money, that it definitely, I don't know if it like magnetized money to me, but it released any angst when I was making a purchase. And it also made me more conscious too of making a purchase. Like I shared with you guys that I have a little bit of spending money, and so just like maybe a little kid is at the candy store and is trying to like budget how much candy he or she can get, sometimes I really think about what I want to get and I make a mental note of it, and then I go back to the store when I've saved up a little more. So it's just a different way of living, but I just wanted to share that when I've taken the worry out of my spending, it's made a positive difference. Calculate whether you have enough money for all your needs today. If you do, stop focusing on the lack this minute, she says. You probably have all the money you need to take care of today's needs and more. It doesn't matter how much more. Anytime you have more than you need, you have abundance. That's easier said than done, though, don't you think? Because I know I've been in a situation where I'm just trying to focus on, okay, I have enough for today, but I can't stop myself from going down the what's going to happen next part of it. But I like the thought that if you have extra today, then you actually are abundant. Catch yourself the next time you start dwelling on what you don't have. Switch tracks by noticing and appreciating what you do have. As this becomes a personal habit, you'll find yourself coping well with any amount of money you have rather than worrying about it. Worry is a future tense emotion. Yes, we talked about being in the present and how worry is absolutely about what's going to happen. It's definitely in the future. It's a projection of the possible, not necessarily the probable, she says. Will there be enough? Where will it come from? How long will it last? That's exactly what I just said a few minutes ago. Transforming every what will I do into what can I do fuels your fiscal creativity, restoring a sense of peace as you pursue prosperity. And constant worry about money blocks your creativity and clear thinking. Yeah. What about, the next one is about paying bills. I think I told you also in that other video about how I like to write checks still. I know that's really not super eco-conscious because I'm still mailing something in the mail. But I'm supporting the postal system, I suppose, and the workers. But I like to physically write out bills for things, and just writing the word thank you in the memo and being grateful as I pay the bill is something also that I've implemented when I changed some ways that I was thinking about money a few years ago. So let's see what Sarah says about paying bills. So she's talking about her own experience of paying bills, and then she has some suggestions, and they might be similar to what I'm going to say, or what I just said. Okay, let's see what she says. Right now, go to your wallet and take out a dollar bill. Turn it over, and what do you see? It says, "In God we trust." That's a neat thought about a bill, right? Place that bill with the trusting side facing you where you can see it the next time you settle your accounts. That's a great suggestion. Yep. She's saying exactly what I just said. When she pays the bills, she does a similar thing about being grateful for the services. So if you're paying the electric bill, just thanking the workers, thanking the company, thanking the fact that you had internet or light or heat, right? And she says, we keep a constant flow of money in our daily round through giving with love and paying what we owe with gratitude. So that would be like the quote from Jesus where give to Caesar what is Caesar's. So we did use the services of the electric company or the internet company. So we're giving them the money for those services that we took part in. And being grateful sort of keeps the positive flow of the money and the services flowing. So she has a similar thought to me. Spending habits. You guys know what I said about having my own little spending envelope in my envelopes. And Sarah has talked to us before about how when she started to really look at the Simple Abundance path, she actually challenged herself to stop going out and buying things. Because we talked a lot about stuff and clutter and really trying to choose things that you love to be around you. And so we know that she has a little bit of spending love, I guess. She wants to spend more. I don't feel like I always want to spend money. I don't suffer from that if it is a thing to suffer from. I guess it would be if money's tight and you, or just out spending it. I get a thrill if I really want something and I spend it, but I think I'm pretty practical where money is concerned. So she is going on a similar sort of spending experience like I was saying, where I think about something before I buy it, and she says, do you really want this? Do you really need this? Can you do without it? And where can I find this 50% off? She also adds. So yeah, you could definitely find a deal. Although supporting a small business over a large, big online company sometimes feels equally as good, even if you're spending a little bit more. Savers don't spend if they don't have to. And they certainly never squander money. Savers put aside for rainy days, which is why they don't panic when the roof starts leaking. Right. Okay, and this is kind of along the lines of my budget video again. She says, this week, keep track of every expenditure, be it large or small, routine or one-time only, for services rendered or for actual purchases, and whether made with cash, check, or credit card. Carry a small notebook or index card, one card for each day, to track your spending and see where the money goes. At the end of the week, take a sheet of paper and list your expenditures under these headings. Necessities, comforts, wants, indulgences, extravagances, insanity. How much life energy did you spend? Wow. Was it worth it? What expenditures made you sigh? And what happy recollection with happy recollection or with regret? I don't know. I think if you regret something, as long as you didn't take the tags off or open the box or something, you can definitely return things. And then after you do that, now look at the choices that make you feel uncomfortable. What could you have passed up without a sense of deprivation kicking in? Now take that amount and multiply it by 52. I'd be willing to bet that the total amounts to a nice chunk of change that could have been saved either for an authentic want that would thrill you or for peace of mind savings investment, and you probably wouldn't even have missed it. Yeah. I hope you take a look at that video. It's a long one. It's over an hour, but I think once you start saving, especially if you decide that you really want to get on a debt-free journey and realize that once you are debt-free that you are not really answering to anybody and you have so many more choices and you could pick up and go, you just have more saved for a rainy day or for, like, what did she say, when the roof starts leaking. If you get an emergency fund going, it will definitely change your relationship with money, for sure. So as far as when she was just talking about shopping, she has an entry called Quieting the Wants To, and it's about being a material girl and really deciding, do you need it, do you want it, can you afford it, that sort of thing. And we talked a little bit about serenity in the first entry. She has an entry called Financial Serenity. Sorry, that's a kitty in the background. Financial serenity is never having to worry about money again because you've discovered the true source, and that's source with a capital S. You have access to an inexhaustible, invisible storehouse of good. We don't have to wait another moment for financial serenity. We can begin to experience it today regardless of our economic condition. Financial serenity starts when we accept as our truth that money is a state of mind and that abundance is a state of belief. Wow. That says it all. When we choose abundance, we become rich in the real. We attain true wealth. Of course, money is a part of personal wealth, but so is love, inner peace, harmony, beauty, joy, perfect health, authentic expression, discovering your bliss, pursuing your passions, fulfilling your divine destiny. Yes. So those are some of the things, the best things in life are free. And we talked a little bit about authentic success over the summer when we were talking about all the success entries. And you may decide that you're more comfortable with a simple lifestyle and less expenses and needing less. I was realizing, and I know I've been here, it'll be a month in a couple days. My expenses, I've cut them in half. Actually, probably more than that. And now that I have a good flow of money coming in again, it's a really different experience for me, because when I had my business before, I was probably living beyond my means a bit just to be comfortable, and I didn't really pay myself very much as my own employer. So as much as I don't see myself here in this place that I am for maybe 2 years maximum. Hopefully it's not, maybe it's going to be shorter, but as much as I'd rather be in a different place, I can appreciate the feeling of more coming in and less going out. And do I feel a sense of simplicity here? Probably not, because everything's crammed into a small space. So I'd rather have more space because then I can have the same amount of stuff, but it would just not feel so cluttered. But I'm coming to, or I'm trying to, I should say, come to a better place of acceptance and trying to see the upside of some of the decisions that I was sort of forced to make this year. So maybe there's some positive coming out of it. Anyway, back to the book. The way to start saving money on a regular basis is to think of it as a positive choice, one that affirms your abundance. I call mine my Serenity Account. If you save money, you begin to let go of limiting thought patterns. How much should you save? Start with whatever you can, but aim for 10% of whatever money comes in your way, depositing it into your account before it goes somewhere else. Yeah, if you can even just have something deposited into a savings account that you don't even realize, like you just only get the rest of it as your paycheck, then that's really a good way to save too. Your saving is a positive affirmation that you have more than you need in the moment. Think of how much you would like in your savings account. Imagine it as vividly as you can, she suggests. Imagine the balance you would like in your passbook. Now, this is dated, because that would be like the old bank books that you would bring to the bank, and they would actually like print your balance on it, right? Envision yourself putting money into your account. Feel the joy you will have when you look at the balance. Picture your savings as your wealth account. View it as money that is teaching you how to handle a larger and larger flow of prosperity. One thing I would say too about debt is similar to this. If you sit down and maybe you have a credit card balance and you really want to pay it off, and you sit down and you say thank you for all the things that you remember doing or buying with that balance, then you start to make peace a little bit with that. And then when you're paying that off, then you are sort of saying thank you for all those things that you did or purchased with it, instead of being like, oh, I'm such a dummy, I never should have bought that, or oh, I'll never see that money again, that sort of thing. Like, if you can turn it back into a positive for paying your experience and your goods back, also, like not unlike the services rendered exercise. How about affirming abundance? That's the next entry. Another step towards financial serenity is taking on a silent partner, that's in quotes, with a vested interest in your prosperity. This is done through tithing. So that would be like giving to church, or as she says, returning a portion of your wealth to the work of spirit. So that could mean to your religious organization, or it could mean whatever you want to put out there that you feel is going to be the work of spirit. When you tithe, you acknowledge and honor the true source of your supply. And this whole entry is pretty much about tithing. And she makes a good point. Even if you feel like you don't have a lot, even if you are sort of struggling to get by, these are my words, I would take it to mean when she wants you to also consider tithing even in those times. And I was going to say that if you are still giving away something that you are hoping comes back to you, then that's only going to be a positive too. If you really hold on to your money and you are not necessarily in a way saying thank you, like in a tithe, then it's probably not going to keep the flow of abundance coming to you. The next entry is about becoming more magnetic to money. And I can personally attest to this. She talks about how in the ancient world, Babylon, it was the most wealthy city. It was known for its fortune. And the Babylonians believed that if they carried around money with them, that it just attracted more money to them. And I will say that when I started using cash with my cash envelopes, I felt that. I don't know, not only did I feel like I had money, so again, it was more about having the peace of knowing that the money was there, but I felt like money started to become more attracted to me. I don't know if it's a state of mind or what. But in the Great Depression times, she talks about how in the United States they tried to really start teaching Americans about the Babylonian way, not necessarily about carrying the money, but the path to personal wealth is regular saving and sharing, controlling your expenditures, living debt-free, increasing prosperity through prudent investment, protecting the bulk of your wealth from loss, owning property, establishing a future income for old age, and increasing the ability to earn money through perseverance. So that was something that they were in America trying to pass on to people to help them rebuild their lives, and instead of living paycheck to paycheck. So here's Sarah's money magnet. Creating a money magnet is a fabulous psychological ploy to jumpstart a sense of financial serenity if you're worried about money. A money magnet is not a savings account. It's in addition to the money you deposit in your savings account. You keep your money magnet close at hand so that you can see your prosperity. Touch it or count it as often as you like. You need some money that is completely yours, which is why the existence of your money magnet is to be kept secret. It's not intended to pay for the pizza delivery boy. A symbolic money magnet that is a personal favorite is to carry a hidden $100 bill in addition to whatever money I think I need when I go out, she says. The reason for this is that no matter what happens, I'll always have $100 to spend if I wish for an emergency. But it must be a $100 bill, not nearly $100 in money, because you'll spend the $100 if it's smaller bills, but you would rarely break a $100 bill. At least I won't, she says. This way you always feel abundant without spending money. It's a terrific reconditioning tool to teach us that abundance must occur in our minds before it can manifest itself in our lives. So those are a lot of great tips about money and abundance and what you value in life, whether it's currency in society or if it's spiritual currency, giving a little bit back to spirit, budgeting, making wise decisions, and trying to attract more money. I talked a bit in I forget if it was the last entry. Yeah, I think it was about, I said something like, if you're trying to attract money, you need to get into the vibration of feeling like you have it. So again, it would be, like, and I'm just looking over here because I have my money envelopes right here. It would be a matter of having the money with you. I really like that $100 bill idea. That's a good thought. So then you'd feel like you had that, and you would know you had it. Just like I feel that way about my savings account. And I need to have an account where I have like 3 to 6 months of income. I know they want you to do that. I haven't gotten to that point yet. But I have my own personal goals, and I think once you start to think about this and you don't think about it so much with worry, but you try to make it fun, like the envelopes I think are fun, and I enjoy kind of deciding like, this is how many 50s I need, this is how many 5s, 1s, whatever. It's almost like playing store or banker when you were little. So let me know your thoughts on some of these thoughts from Sarah, and maybe some tips that you might have as far as how you pay your bills. Even if it's online, do you say thank you, or have you ever thought about the people that you're paying in terms of the services that you take advantage of in your home and things like that? A lot of stuff to think about with this one. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, please give it a like, and I would love it if you subscribed as well. We're not at the end of the year yet, so look back at some of my older videos as well and come along with us for the rest of our Simple Abundance year. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.